Hello, everyone. Dear students, good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Let us talk about investment property, which is covered by PAS 40 or IAS 40. If you can still remember, during our discussion or during my video lecture on PAS 16 on property, plant, and equipment, meron po tayong ilang slides doon that we were asked to identify what types of transactions or accounts are being presented by the following scenarios, no? So may mga ibang items doon na hindi nagfo-fall sa PAS 16 pero nagfo-fall sa PAS 40, those items being considered as investment property. So dito sa video lecture na ito, we will elaborate further on the standard and the type of account for investment property. So, kailan po ba natin kino-consider ang investment property? Okay, so let us define what an investment property is. Following PAS 40, under paragraph 5, doon sa mga definition of terms, ang sinasabi po doon is that an investment property is a property, definitely, used to be invested for investment, no? So it is an investment property. It is a property whether in the form of a land or a building or pwedeng hindi yung buong building kung hindi part of a building or a combination, land and building, no? Held by either the owner or by the lessee as a right of use asset. Now, for my students under intermediate accounting, okay, you may have heard of lessee and right of use asset, but this will be elaborated, presented in detail when you go to the topic under IFRS 16, which is leases. Okay, pero sa iba, maaring na-study na po ito dahil it's more of a recap or review na lang itong video na ito. But for the majority, especially for my actual students, hindi pa po ninyo naaral yung IFRS 16 na introduce lang elsewhere, no? Now, ano ang purpose ng investment property? The purpose is to earn rentals. Kumita, no? Pag nagpaupa ka, halimbawa, merong kang pinapaupahang mga kwarto or opisina, kumikita ka doon ng pera by virtue of the rental income that is being received. Okay. O kung sakali man na hindi mo pinapaupahan ang isang space or land or building, maaring ito po ay tumataas yung value, nag-a-appreciate. So, for capital appreciation naman siya. Or pwedeng combination of these two. Okay? Kasi nakalagay or both. Okay, now, I want you to take note of this paragraph. I'm nakalimutan ko lang ilagay kung paragraph 6 or paragraph 7 ito, pero this is part of your standard. Now, my concern here ay ito pong nakapula. Ang purpose ng investment property, okay, sabi natin to earn rentals or for capital appreciation. And with that in mind, no, because you are earning rental or wala ka mang nare-receive na pera pero tumataas yung value. So it generates cash flows largely independent, no, of the other assets held by the entity. Now, yung intangible assets, kino-compare natin sa PAS 16. Yung investment property, i-compare din natin sa PAS 16. Okay? So, ang parang reference point ng ating mga learnings dito ay yung property, plant, and equipment. Now, ang purpose ng property, plant, and equipment ay for administrative purposes. Ginagamit halimbawa sa opisina. Ginagawang opisina ang building. Okay? So, for admin, o kaya naman use in the production of supplies or services. Meron kang planta para mag-manufacture ka ng certain product. So, yung planta na yon ay property, plant, and equipment. And when you are using that property, whether for manufacturing or for production of goods or services, o kaya naman in the for administrative purposes, wala kang na-generate doon na cash flow. Walang pumapasok na pera. Okay, pero pag investment property, okay, so nag-generate ito ng cash flows. Okay, independently of the other assets. Okay, now, so yun yung nag-separate no sa investment property from owner-occupied property. And when we are talking about owner-occupied property, we are referring to property, plant, and equipment under PAS 16 or AYA 16. Okay? So sabi nga dito, AYA 16 applies to owner-occupied property. Samantala, no, yung IFRS 16 ang nag-a-apply no na standard sa mga leases. Kasi pwedeng o hindi mo siya pagmamay-ari pero long term mo siyang inupahan. So matagal-tagal mo siyang magagamit, kailangan mong i-recognize sa libro mo yung tinatawag natin na right of use asset. Okay? You are being the lessee. Okay, now, ito po ang mga halimbawa no ng investment property na maaring na-discuss na po natin during PAS 16, pero this will serve as a refresher or a reminder. Number 1, ito po lahat na ito ay makikita po natin sa paragraph 8 ng standard. Sinasabi dito, yung mga land held for long-term capital appreciation. So, halimbawa, meron kang nakatiwangwang na lote at balak mong pataasin yung value nito kasi yung area kung saan nakalagay yung lote ninyo ay dinidevelop, no? So, ine-expect mo in a few years time, in 5 years, in 10 years, tataas yung value nito. Okay? So, pinangahawakan mo yung lupa para tumaas yung value instead na ibenta mo siya in the short term. Kasi if you remember, during our discussion on past 2 inventories, yung mga real estate developers, no, yung mga land na pinangahawakan nila, ang purpose nun ay para ibenta nila. So the land held not to be sold is in the ordinary course of business. Yung lupa na yon na ibebenta ay part of past 2 inventories. Okay, number 2. Land held for a currently undetermined future use. May pinangahawakan ka na lupain, hindi mo alam kung para saan mo ito gagamitin. So, currently undetermined future use, ika-classify, ika-categorize po natin yan as investment property. Okay. If the entity daw has not determined that it will use the land as owner-occupied property or for short-term sale, the land is regarded as held for capital appreciation. Okay? Hindi ka sure kung saan mo yan gagamitin. Sa 1 and 2, land ang pinag-uusapan natin. Tandaan po ninyo sa definition ng investment property, land or building or both. So yung number 3, building naman. Isang building na pagmamay-ari ng kumpanya o kaya naman a right of use asset, no? Kasi naka long-term lease siya and recognized no under IFRS 16. And nililease out siya under one or more operating leases. Okay? So, take note sa nakapula, leased out under one or more operating leases. Operating po, no? Kasi meron tayong tinatawag na finance lease. So, ang keyword natin para makonsider siya as investment property, naka-lease out yung property under one or more operating leases. Number 4, vacant building din. Held or to be leased out under one or more operating leases. Number 5, ongoing na construction or development na isang property in the future ay gagamitin natin as investment property. Eh di sa ngayon pa lang, i-recognize na natin siya as investment property. Okay? So yun po ang mga halimbawa natin ng investment property. Ngayon, ano naman ang mga examples ng hindi investment property? O kasi mga kapatid, ang labanan po natin sa intermediate accounting and lalong-lalo na pagdating sa auditing is the proper identification of accounts. Saan ba ito dapat natin i-classify? Kasi sometimes we may be presented with a lot of information wherein we need to identify which is which. So kung hindi mo alam or hindi mo pa na-encounter ang ibang mga terminologies or ibang phrases, no? So, yari ka na. Hindi mo na masosolve ang kailangan nating isolve. So, pag na-encounter po ninyo ito, hindi po yan investment property. If the property is intended to be sold in the ordinary course of business, inventory yan under PAS 2. If the property is owner-occupied, PAS 16. No? Or PFRS 16 if that is an ROU asset. Okay, kasama na po dito sa PAS 16 yung mga property held for use as owner-occupied property. Kanina sa previous slide sa number 5, property being constructed or developed as investment property is an investment property. But if the property is developed para gawing investment para gawing owner occupied, di syempre owner occupied siya under PAS 16. Property occupied by employees, whether or not the employees pay rent at market rates. Okay? And owner-occupied property awaiting disposal. Ito yung pending ng derecognition. Okay? So lahat po na yan ay hindi investment property. Number 3, ito. Property that is leased to another entity under e-finance lease. Balikan natin yung previous. Sabi dito, leased out under one or more operating leases, investment property. But if the property is leased to another under a finance lease, hindi po yan investment property. Bakit? Kasi class, pag yan po ay binigay mo, hindi binigay, nilis mo sa another entity under a finance lease. Okay? Dito papasok yung ating ng IFRS 16, i-recognize siya na ROU asset ng isa. Tapos sa'yo, tatanggalin mo yung asset na yon. Much of the discussions, syempre hindi po natin yan i-elaborate further because that is covered under IFRS 16. But please take note, pag nakita po ninyo yung term na leased out under a finance lease, hindi po yan investment property. Okay? How about yung mga property with dual purpose? Dalawa yung pinanggagamitan. Halimbawa, meron kang building na pagmamay-ari, yung baba, halimbawa, 10 floors. Yung unang 3 palapag ay ginagamit mo for office purposes, administrative, opisina. Pero yung 7 palapag ay pinapa-lease out mo, whether commercial or residential. Di yun ay investment property. Okay. Ito yung tatandaan po natin, excuse me. If the portions, okay, sa paragraph 10 ng PAS 40, sabi dito, if yung portions could be sold separately, divisible, separable, or pwede mong i-list out separately under a finance lease, you can account the portions separately. Di yung iba, investment property, yung iba, owner-occupied property. Pero, eto, kung hindi mo daw masosold separately yung mga portions, we will consider it only as an investment property if only an insignificant portion ang ginagamit natin sa production or for administrative purposes. Take note, recognize lamang po natin yan as investment property only if an insignificant portion is held for use, no, as past 16 PPE. Okay, now, ito yung ating visual. Okay? Let us consider na itong portion na ito ay insignificant. Okay? Kumbaga minimal siya. Then significant etong part na ito, ano? Consider, assume lamang po natin na this is insignificant. So, pag ang significant portion ay with rental income, yes, investment property yan. Now, kabaligtaran, kung insignificant yung rental income at significant portions ay owner-occupied and you cannot sold them separately, we will treat the entire property as property, plant, and equipment. Okay? So, these are properties with dual purpose. Now, how about ancillary services? Papaano naman po ang mga ancillary services? Again, babalikan natin din or remind din po tayo sa term na significant, insignificant. Kasi class, if the ancillary service is insignificant, no? If the services are insignificant to the arrangement as a whole, edi yung property na yon ay ititreat natin as investment property. Anong example nito? Halimbawa, when the owner of an office building provides security and maintenance services to the lessee who occupy the building, edi we will recognize it as an investment property. Kasi the owner is leasing, the building. And integral sa arrangement na yon is that secured sila at dapat na maintain. Okay, so security and maintenance services are ancillary services. So with this, ito pong asset ay kino-consider natin as an investment property. Insignificant siya. Ngayon, papaano naman pag significant? Okay, pag significant naman, ang example dito is halimbawa, yung company ay nagmamay-ari ng hotel. Okay, so hotel, no? So services provided to the guests are significant to the arrangement as a whole. Okay? Therefore, an owner-managed hotel is owner-occupied property rather than investment property. So yung mga services provided to guests are significant to the arrangement. Okay? So please take note significant ba sa arrangement as a whole or insignificant? Pag significant, owner-occupied, PPE. Pag insignificant, investment property. Okay. So, ito class ay examples na nilagay mismo sa standard. Okay? Kasama yan sa ating paragraph doon sa PAS 40. Now, so sinabi, in-explain or define na natin ano yung investment property. Pag-usapan naman natin yung initial recognition. When do we recognize an investment property? And eventually, yung measurement. So, kagaya po ng ibang mga assets natin, yung recognition criteria natin is dapat probable that the entity will obtain future economic benefits and that the cost can be measured reliably. Okay? So, eto 'di ba ang ating recognition criteria, probable and that the cost can be measured reliably. Now, take note po nitong mga sumusunod, lalong-lalo na yung mga nakapula. So, in the evaluation of your asset, whether it fits the recognition of investment property. Kasi syempre, eventually, susukatin natin ito. How much, measurement naman yung pinag-uusapan natin. So, when you are evaluating no under this recognition principle na probable and cost can be measured reliably, yung cost no pag-uusapan na natin yung measurement includes costs incurred initially to acquire an investment property. So yung acquisition cost mo plus incurred subsequently to add, replace, or service a property. If that provides an extension of life or it benefits the property. So if you remember sa past 16 sa mga subsequent measurement, alin po sa mga transactions yung kinakapitalize natin or ine-expense natin as repairs and maintenance. So ganun din po sa investment property. We will capitalize cost incurred subsequently if it adds to, replace, or service a property. Okay. Pero sa recognition principle na ito, under paragraph 16, hindi po nire-recognize ni entity sa carrying amount ng investment property, although nakalagay dito or service a property, pero pag cost of day-to-day servicing at property, hindi. Okay? Hindi po natin yan kino-consider as cost incurred subsequently. Okay? Etong mga cost na ito, itatapon mo sa P&L. Expense mo po yan. Okay? So, sabi dito sa paragraph 18, costs of day-to-day servicing are primarily the cost of labor and consumables and may include the cost of minor parts. Okay? So, ayun, for the repairs and maintenance of the property. Okay. Next, measurement. So, initially, we will measure the investment property at cost plus transaction cost. So take note ha, yung transaction cost ay kinakapitalize po natin. So wag po kayong malilito sa mga treatment ng transaction cost kasi may mga transaction cost na expense when incurred. Pero dito sa investment property, transaction costs are capitalized when incurred. Okay, now the cost of a purchased investment property comprises its purchase price and any directly attributable expenditure. So directly attributable costs. Example, yung mga professional fees for legal services, property transfer taxes, and other transaction costs. So they are necessary in the conduct of acquiring an investment property. Okay? Measurement initially is measured at cost. Ang mga sumusunod ay hindi natin kinakapitalize as part of the cost of an investment property. Startup cost, initial operating losses, and abnormal amounts of wasted material. So ito po ay hindi na bago sa inyong pandinig or sa inyong paningin. So when you encounter these costs, expense when incurred. Okay? Now, syempre, kagaya ng PPE, there are several modes of acquiring an investment property. The same with intangible assets. So ano-ano po ba ang mga pamamaraan para makapag-acquire tayo ng investment property? So it can be acquired by cash purchase, pwedeng cash basis or on a deferred payment plan, naka-installment, okay? In exchange for a non-monetary asset or by issuing the company's own equity securities or under a lease contract as a right of use asset. Okay. So, syempre, alam na po natin babalikan po natin, pakibalikan yung mga discussions on how to measure cash purchases, cash payments, mga deferred payment plan. Kasi halimbawa, on a deferred payment plan, edi cash price equivalent tayo doon. No, kung may difference, edi finance cost, 'di ba? Interest, 'di ba? O pag mga non-monetary asset, o yung ating rule diyan, fair value. Kung hindi available yung fair value or merong ano no, lacking of commercial substance, the carrying amount of the asset given up. Okay? Oh. So, eto syempre hindi na po natin ito i-elaborate isa-isa kasi meron na po tayong reference point dito even though that was covered by another standard, but the treatment is the same for investment property. How you deal with cash purchases or deferred payment plan on PPE also applies, no, yung computation na yon applies to investment property. Okay? So, ayan po ano, may note po tayo dito sa baba. Kaya hindi na po natin yan pag-aaksayahan ng panahon. Pag-aaksayahan po natin yan ng panahon sa mga problems, sa mga illustrations, no? Pero etong discussion natin is more of introduction, no? Conceptual discussions. Later on, yung ating mga problem solving. For my actual students, whether ano no, and likely on a face-to-face setup, no, or kapag meron akong time, I can create some, no, that will be recorded as well. Okay, but please expect yung mga problem solving will be conducted on a classroom basis. Okay, initial measurement is cost. After recognition, ito careful tayo. Kasi sa property, plant and equipment and intangible assets, di ba? Cost model and revaluation model. Pagdating po sa investment property, check tayo sa cost model, pero revaluation X. Instead of revaluation model, gagamitin po natin yung fair value model. Okay? So, either no fair value model or cost model, and syempre, it shall be applied to all investment property. Okay. Now, syempre, kung sakali man ano na nagkaroon ng change in use, okay? Eh di papalitan po natin yung accounting policy na gagamitin natin. O class, under PAS 8, di ba? Or IS 8, accounting policies, change in accounting estimates and errors. Di ba sinasabi doon? Voluntary change in accounting policy shall be made only if the change results in the financial statements providing reliable and more relevant information. Okay? O pero, ang sinasabi po dito, it is highly unlikely that a change from the fair value model to the cost model will result in a more relevant presentation. Pero kung sakali man po no, na merong change, pag-usapan po natin mamaya yung reclassification. Okay? Change in. Pero kailan po ba ito inaalaw? So later on, we will talk about that. Now, since cost model is not new to us, magpo-focus po tayo dito sa fair value model. Now, eto no, hindi naman na po ito bago because prior to these discussions, na-encounter na po natin yung fair value measurement. Okay. No, fair value measurement is covered by IFRS 13. Tama ba? Tama ba si Sir? No, I hope I get it correct. Now, so pag fair value, yung mga changes in fair value, di ba, ay kino-consider natin. So, after initial recognition, the entity that chooses the fair value model shall measure ang investment property at fair value. Okay? Maliban na lang if the fair value cannot be reliably measured on a continuing basis. And any changes will be treated as a gain or loss, no, in the profit or loss section. Okay? Kung kailan po nag-arise yung changes sa fair value. Okay? So, ganun po ano yung measurement natin. If an entity daw has previously measured an investment property at fair value, tuloy at tuloy po nating ime-measure yan until disposal. Until i-recognize na natin siya, no? Or, sorry. Or until daw the property becomes owner-occupied or ibebenta mo na siya. That is the point of, ending the measurement at fair value. Kasi mag-change na tayo ng measurement. Kasi pumasok na siya sa ibang standard. And that standard na paglilipatan yung mag-a-apply subsequently. Okay. Now, meron tayo ditong illustration. Now, take note. Si company, bumili ng tract of land, isang lupain, na ang purpose ay for capital appreciation. Nagkakahalaga ng 4 million early in 2023. On year end, December 31, 2023, on the basis of an independent appraisal made, at ang sinasabi po pala ng standard is that, para ma-assess natin yung fair value, maganda pag gumamit tayo ng appraiser, independent appraiser. So, mga appraisers kasi ang nagva-value, sila po yung ating mga experts in valuing a property. Okay. So, on the basis of an independent appraisal, na-determine magkano yung fair value ng asset. And the asset was determined to be at 4.6 million at year end of 2023. So, there was an increase of 600,000. Di, i-measure natin yan as an increase to your investment property, debiting investment property and credit to fair value gain on investment property, which is recognized in the profit or loss, in your statement of comprehensive income. Okay, so 600,000 for the difference between the 4 million and 4.6. Okay, so madali lang naman siya. Now class, please take note. Ang sinasabi ng standard, huwag mong dodoblehin na bilang yung mga assets at saka mga liabilities. Kung nabilang mo siya as investment property, huwag mo siyang ibilangin as still part of your PPE. Okay? Double counting kasi yon. So, sa standard, may mga examples tayo, 1 to 4, sa paragraph 50. Halimbawa, yung mga elevator, lifts, okay? Or air conditioning units. Integral part yan ng building. At generally included in the fair value of the investment property. Kapag yung building na yon ay measured as an investment property. So hindi mo siya isi-separate at i-measure as PPE. Kasi integral yung yung elevator sa building. Okay? Number 2, if an office is leased on a furnished basis. So meron kang mga furnitures and fixtures na kasama doon. When furniture is included in the fair value of investment property, hindi mo na isi-separate measure pa yung furniture and fixture as property, plant, and equipment. Kasi integral yan sa naging kasunduan ninyo. Nagparenta ka, furnished basis. Hindi siya bare na blanco, walang laman. Space lang. Okay, pero pag furnished, kasama na yung mga furniture and fixture, may mga lamesa, may mga upuan, di kasama yan as part of your investment property at wag mo siyang i-recognize separately as property, plant, and equipment. Eto number 3, pinula ko kasi pakitandaan ito. Ang fair value ng investment property, hindi po natin isinasama kung meron tayong mga prepaid or accrued operating lease income. Okay? Okay? Exclude natin yan ha. Hindi po natin yan isinasama. Exclude, hindi include. Okay. So, and number 4, medyo mahaba-haba. For, investment property held by a lessee as an ROU. Okay? So, if a valuation obtained for a property is net of all payments expected to be made, i-add back natin, yung recognized lease liability para makuha natin yung carrying amount ng investment property using the fair value model. Okay, so please take note nitong mga ito po. Now, ito, inability to measure fair value reliably, ano? Ito ay na-discuss na rin naman sa ibang mga standards, no? Pero dito, ang gusto lang natin bigyan ng emphasis ay etong portion na ito sa paragraph 53. Kasi sinasabi natin sa fair value model, gagamitin natin ay fair value. Maliban na lamang if there is an inability to recognize or to measure the fair value reliably. So, yun po yung tinutukoy nitong slide nito, no? Paragraph 53. So, medyo may kahabaan lang po ito, pero pakibantayan po ng mga naka-decolor, mga naka-underline. Okay? Kailan lang daw mag-a-apply itong inability to measure the fair value reliably? Kapag wala daw market for comparable properties and therefore you cannot measure the fair value. Inactive, no, yung market. And alternative reliable measurements are not available. Wala kang market, no, para pagbasehan ng fair value at yung mga alternative measurements are not available. Eh di syempre, wala kang way para masukat kung magkano yung fair value ng investment property. Eh di, in that case, we cannot measure at fair value. Eh di, at cost ka. Okay? O, eto, take note. Pag yung entity, yung investment property nito ay under construction, okay? Pwede nating masabi na we cannot measure the fair value reliably. But when the property is completed, we can expect that there will be a fair value for that investment property. So ang mangyayari at when the investment property is still under construction, i-measure muna natin yung property at cost until either its fair value becomes reliably measured or completed na yung construction, whichever comes first, no? Whichever is earlier. Okay. Another one, investment property other than yung mga property under construction. If we cannot measure reliably the fair value on a continuing basis, i-measure natin yung property at cost model. Okay? Okay. So, yan po ano. And the residual value will be assumed to be 0. Now, take note. For these types of investment property, we will continue to apply the cost until disposal of the investment property. For investment property, other than property under construction. If minesion mo yan at cost, okay, until disposal na siya ng investment property. Okay? Measurement after recognition, pag cost model, alam na po ninyo kung papaano natin yan. Di ba? Mini-measure. Okay. Ano po ito? After initial recognition, an entity that chooses the cost model shall measure investment property in accordance with IFRS 5. Pag-uusapan po natin itong non-current asset held for sale after this past 40. Okay? Under IFRS 16. Okay? Or under past 16. So, papaano yung cost model? Cost less accumulated depreciation less accumulated impairment losses. Alright? So, yan po ano. Siyempre, hindi na po natin ito i-elaborate. Okay. Pag-usapan naman natin yung reclassifications. Transfer between investment property to another standard or vice versa. Sabi sa paragraph 57 ng standard, pwede po natin gawin yan when and only when, take note if and only if there is a change in use. Pag walang change in use, hindi po natin pwedeng i-reclassify. So, a change in use daw occurs when the property meets or ceases to meet the definition of investment property. And meron po tayong supporting evidence. Iba po yung change in use, no? Sa change in intention. Pag meron kang change in management intention, wala pang action yun eh. Kasi intent pa lang, no? Halimbawa, I'm planning to change the PPE into investment property. Pero wala ka pang action doon, intention pa lang. Pero change in use, you started. Okay, so meron na tayong change, hindi lang siya intention, no? Pinakilos mo na kasi yung intent na yon. Okay. So, ano mga halimbawa natin? Commencement, nag-umpisa na yung owner occupation. Dati investment property siya. Ngayon, ginawa mo na siyang opisina. So, from investment property, ginawa mo na siyang owner occupied. Commencement of development with a view to sale. Ibebenta mo na yung property. So, from IP, magiging inventory. Natapos na yung owner occupation, di from owner occupied property to investment property. Or inception of an operating lease to another. So from inventory, ginawa mong investment property. Take note ha, when and only when there is a change in use. Hindi po change in management's intention. Okay. Paano pag yung transfer, yung reclassification ay under the fair value model? So, syempre, minimeasure natin yung investment property natin at fair value. So, paano yun? Okay. Eto, no? Sabi dito, the property's deemed cost for subsequent accounting shall be its fair value. Galing, galing investment property na naka-fair value, ililipat mo, no? To halimbawa, property, plant, and equipment. Yung property, plant, and equipment, sabihin na natin cost model ka. Yung fair value mo on the date of change will be the cost. So for example, a building that was previously leased out to others under, take note, operating leases, nireclassify natin as inventories kasi you are planning to sell the asset in the normal course and line of business. Now, assuming that the building had a fair value at last reporting date of 20 million and nag-increase to 22 million on the date of transfer. O ito journal entry natin. Siyempre, i-recognize mo muna yung increment no, sa fair value para yung investment property ay ma-measure at 22 million. Kasi on the last reporting date, halimbawa last year, 20 million siya. O di update mo muna yung fair value, di 22 million na siya after this journal entry. And then, i-recognize mo na, ililipat mo na sa inventory. Yung inventory is measured at the lower of cost or net realizable value and net realizable value, di ba? LCNRV. O di, yung measurement na ngayon ng inventory na inacquire because it was inacquired, that was reclassified from investment property ay 22 million. O tapos, din-recognize na natin yung investment property. See this? Okay? So, from IP, naging inventory. Paano pag nanggaling siya ng owner-occupied? Okay. If an owner-occupied becomes an investment property that will be carried at fair value, di ba? An entity shall apply PAS 16 or IFRS 16 to the date of change in use. Any difference at that date between the carrying amounts of the property and its fair value is treated in the same way as a revaluation in accordance with PAS 16. So we have plenty of discussions and illustrations, di ba, on revaluation model. Okay? So, example po natin, and this is the pro forma journal entry, you will recognize the land, which is under PAS 16. You will now measure land held as investment property. Okay, tapos any increase or decrease ay whether debit or credit sa revaluation surplus. Okay? Siyempre, it will depend whichever is higher between the fair value or the carrying amount. Okay? So, paano naman kung yung manggagaling ng inventory magiging investment property? So, siyempre, yung inventories mo ay measured at LCNRV, tapos magiging fair value measurement. Any difference between the fair value and the carrying amount will also be recognized in P&L in this manner. Inventory mo, carrying amount. Land and building mo ay fair value. Kung mas malaki yung fair value, edi meron ka ditong gain. Okay? Assuming, syempre, mas malaki yung fair value as compared to the carrying amount. Okay? The treatment of transfers from inventory to investment property that will be carried at fair value is consistent with the treatment of sale of inventory. Ayan. Okay. Now, completion of self-constructed investment property. So, ang sinasabi sa atin, di ba? Yung self-constructed investment property, no, kadalasan, we cannot measure reliably the fair value, therefore we will measure it at cost. Pag completed na or whenever the fair value becomes available, whichever is earlier, edi gamitin natin yung fair value model. Now, when an entity completes the construction or development, tapos i-carry mo siya at fair value, any difference between the fair value and the carrying amount is also recognized in P&L. Okay? So, siguro naman by now, tatatak na po ito, yung mga differences ay tapon sa P&L. Plus, if the transfer is using cost model, okay, there is no change in the carrying amount of the property transferred. And it do not change the cost of that property for measurement or disclosure purposes. Cost to cost ka. Owner-occupied cost, investment property cost, or vice versa. Di, yun at yun din po yun. Nagbago lang tayo ng classification because of the change in use from IP to PPE or vice versa. Okay. How about disposals? Paano naman po ang disposals? Siyempre, derecognition yun. Ano? So, tatanggalin mo siya sa balance sheet mo on the disposal date. Okay? Or when the investment property is permanently withdrawn from use and no future economic benefit are expected from its disposal. De-recognize na natin yon. Any gains or losses, okay, shall be treated as the difference between the net proceeds and the carrying amount. Tapon sa P&L. Okay? On the period of retirement or disposal of the investment property. Pag disposal, difference ng disposal proceeds, magkano yung proceeds versus magkano ito sa libro. Okay? Ayan. Compensation, additional note, compensation from third parties for investment property that was impaired, lost, or given up shall be recognized in P&L when the compensation becomes receivable. Hindi ko lang nailagay yung related paragraph, pero kasama po yan sa standard. So, added lang po, emphasis lang din dito. Malay ninyo, for theories, lumabas. Okay. For disclosure, hindi ko na, the same with intangible asset na pagkadami-dami, I will let you read the detailed list of disclosures found in PAS 40. Now, although mukhang konti yan, paragraph 74 to 79, pero may kahabaan yon. So I want this to become an assignment, reading assignment for the disclosures. And with this, let me end my video lecture for PAS 40. Mga problem solving will be conducted separately and probably be recorded na. Tignan po natin ang circumstances in the future. Hanggang sa muli, maraming salamat. Let me know if you have any questions. You can try to comment, and if I have vacant time, let me see if I can get back to you. Okay? So, hanggang dito muna po itong video lecture na ito. Maraming salamat. Susunod, pag-uusapan natin ay PFRS 5, non-current asset held for sale. Thank you. Bye-bye.